Access denied.
Access granted.
As we look into the shooter and stuff like that, and look into this Trump situation a little bit more and what happened with this shooting, there seems to be some very suspicious things that have gone on with this entire situation.
I didn't have any interaction with him, but he was like a kid that was always alone. He was always bullied every day. He was just an outcast. Yeah. I mean, he would sit alone at lunch. I mean, he was just an outcast, and you know how kids are nowadays, so they're going to see someone like that, and they're going to target him because they think it's funny or whatever, so it's the best way I can describe it.
It kind of seems like this kid doesn't really want to talk about what happened here on the left. Kid with the blonde hair, or I guess on the right.
I want to say he was a loner more because he was quiet, but like he was just bullied. Like he was bullied so much. He was just made fun of, I guess, for the way he dressed or his appearance.
How did he dress?
Like they were just saying jeans. He'd wear hunting outfits sometimes.
Hunting outfits. That's interesting.
He would always wear a mask, even after COVID. He wore a mask.
What an interesting point there, that the kid always wore a mask even after COVID. So when we look into this entire situation with what went on with this assassination attempt, there are some very suspicious things. You wonder if anything like MKUltra or anything like that factors into what went on here. So this is what the New York Post said about Matthew Crooks, who's 20, killed a hero Trump supporter and wounded 2 others when he opened fire on the Butler Farm Show grounds with an AR-style rifle. This would-be assassin only grazed the former president before being shot dead by the Secret Service a few years earlier. Crooks had tried out for the rifle team at the Bethel Park High School. 2 former classmates told the Post. So that's kind of the key here, is the Bethel Park High School, because this is where things get wild. So I'm going to start with this one because this seems to be an apparent maybe video from this kid, from a now deleted TikTok account that said Thomas Matthew Crooks 1, and it's kind of a video of him screaming or whatever, the apparent shooter. But it's kind of odd because if he posted this video, this is a video taken by somebody else on their phone. So I don't really know much more about this account either, if this was an account that was around for a while or was made, this video was posted, then it was deleted. But just take it with a grain of salt. But this could be the potential the man that we're looking for here, the man that we've been talking about for the last couple minutes. So slash his throat. He says slash his throat, every Republican. Death to fascists. Watch it one more time. Yeah, so that's definitely really strange there. This kid, if that was him, was definitely a social outcast, but it's odd that that TikTok was deleted. There's not really much else to say about it because we don't have much other information. If this was a person, he's definitely unhinged though, and it's weird that they say he was a registered Republican, because it definitely seems like if he was, it would have only been in a mocking way. It kind of seems like they just said he was a registered Republican so they can use that as a cop-out. But this guy is definitely very left-wing, especially when you hear that he still wore a mask even after COVID. I mean, come on. That is a very left-wing thing to do. So this is the crazy thing here. So this is a BlackRock ad, okay? This is a guy named Brian DeLallo or whatever. He goes on to say that he's a teacher at Bethel Park High School. That's the reason I pulled up that article there, so I could kind of cross-reference and find out if the shooter was actually from Bethel Park High School. And indeed he was. So let's go ahead and watch this video, and you can kind of just, without me having to pause it or say anything, you can probably guess at what part he pops up in the video, because he's got a very distinct face. So.
My name is Brian DeLallo. I teach AP and Honors Economics
in
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Financial well-being to me is knowing that I can be free to do the things that I love to do. I hope when I retire someday, they say, you know, that guy made this place a special place to come to school. And when I retire someday, they say, you know, that guy made this place a special place to come to school and gave as much as he could to help the community.
Rethinking retirement. Yeah, very, very odd here. So it's like I said, there's always some kind of fishy connections here between these shootings and these kind of weird conspiracies and things like that, especially when you actually look into these things. This is kind of a response to somebody said here, why would they want President Trump gone? BlackRock makes money on everything to do with war. They want wars to keep going endlessly. President Trump wants peace, and he has proven he can make it happen. Peace puts the warmongering machine out of business. Who is a badass who even found this? How does someone even go about digging this up so fast? Guys, this is why the internet is such a blessing. It feels like the Lord blessed us with the internet to kind of give us, and I know it sounds crazy because they say, you know, that everything that God intended for good, the devil ends up using for evil. It seems like in this situation, there is some good to come out of the internet, where it seems like it's been mostly kind of a negative effect on society. It's also allowed for so much spiritual discernment and for people to really wake up to the things that are going on in the world. Because if this was like the 60s where there was no computers, there was no cell phone cameras or anything like that, my gosh, there would be so much media cover up and deception, and they just can't do it. They just can't do it in this situation. Because, like, for example, when they tried to come out, you know, within 10 minutes of the shooting and say that Trump kind of cowered down, or he dropped down, or they didn't really know for sure if it was an assassination attempt, who knows how long they would have ran with that narrative if we didn't have the internet. I feel like because we have the internet and all of these things were all over Twitter and people were doing investigations on 4chan faster than the media could even come up with a narrative. For those reasons, I kind of feel like they had to come out and say, yes, okay, this was an assassination attempt, and start like actually reporting on it properly. But if they had a full grip on the narrative, I don't even know how far they would take this thing, what the official narrative would have been. You know, I hope that kind of makes sense there. But yeah, so someone said, who is a badass who even found this? How does someone even go about digging this up so fast? Someone says, no such thing as coincidences. Here's a picture of his face, obviously impossible. That's definitely the kid. Yes, that's him. I mean, you can even see his hair is the same, it's longer. Like, yeah, that's him for sure. Common sense, your own spiritual discernment can kind of tell you that's him, but people will still keep playing these mind games. He's got the same glasses, the same nose. It's him. That's the guy. Yeah, so this tweet here has 3.6 million views. This is just wild, man. It's crazy times we live in where, you know, people can find this kind of stuff out faster than the news and the media and the journalism. It just tells you that there's another agenda going on. They have a specific agenda that they have to push, things that they have to cover up, and official narratives that they have to follow and go by, because real independent journalism is this right here, and this is what people are doing all over X and all over Twitter. So that's kind of where I'm going to leave this video. This is just some things to think about for you guys, but there's some really strange connections here to some bigger kind of narratives that are going on, especially when you look into the conspiracy side of things and what a lot of people say about corporations like BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard, who are kind of buying up these pieces of land, buying up all of the houses, and kind of trying to turn us into eternal renters where we will own nothing and be happy. When you kind of connect that to this, things start to get really weird. So thankfully, the Lord has blessed us with discernment and blessed us with the ability to find this knowledge ourselves. And definitely, you know, it's so crazy that Trump actually turned his head just enough to not get hit, because you don't know if it's like, were they planning for him to get hit or to not get hit and to cause even more strife, because now, you know, the right will be even more seething towards the left and it will cause even more tension. It's just so hard to tell what's kind of going on here, but we kind of have to wait for time to let things play out. But comment down below, let me know what you guys think. There's no doubt about it now that Trump's probably going to win the presidency, but in terms of this shooter and the things that have happened with this assassination attempt, there's already so many strange questions going on. So comment down below what you guys think. And for this video, that's all I got, guys. So until the next one, be safe and God bless. Bye-bye.